What's up, everybody? You are now tuning in to From the East Side with Love. As always, it's your boy Kosher, and today we got some NFL preseason first week wrap up and UFC news. Plus, I'm gonna throw in some LAFC news at the end. So let's talk about it. I'm gonna really just focus on the quarterbacks, the notable rookie quarterbacks that got drafted this past draft, and really just focus more so on what they did. Um, just the top guys. There were several quarterbacks that were drafted in this draft class, but we're gonna talk about the top guys, the guys that have been getting, some love, and the people that we're more familiar with in this past draft. So let's get into it. So this website, NFL Spin Zone, never really heard of it before. NFL Spin Zone has an NFL power ranking rookie QBs after their first preseason action. So, they list four quarterbacks. Okay, Jalen Milroe, Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, Jackson Dart for their respective teams as well. And this, I don't necessarily agree with their rankings, but we're gonna play with it. Let's get into it. So at number 4, they have Cam Ward from the Tennessee Titans, the number 1 pick. Drink some water real quick. Excuse me. It says Cam Ward was fine in his preseason debut. He went 5 of 8 for 67 yards and is probably going to be a part of a lengthy rebuild in Tennessee. Ward is more on the raw side, and the Titans simply need more talent, and talent comes in the offseason and through developing draft picks. Ward's performance lands him 4th in our rookie QB power rankings. Okay, so reading that and hearing the number 1 pick is raw. Those two don't kind of mesh to me. But I'm like, okay, let's see if there's anything else. Let's see if anybody else has anything to say about that. I got this right here from NFL Network. Let's listen right quick.
But it's like he's the polar opposite of Shador Sanders.
Yeah.
If Shador Sanders showed up in the parking lot, you would know it.
Yeah.
If Cam Ward was in this room, you might not. But I think what you said, the bounce and everything, I think that's why he went number 1. You could tell of all the rookie quarterbacks we've seen today, he looks the best out of all of them technically. That's why he's the number 1 guy. So I think that's a perfect lane for him. I think you should stay anonymous, keep working, stay under the radar, and just surprise people with how well you play. But
Okay, so again, he didn't throw any touchdowns. On his second series, he led the Titans to a touchdown. The running back, Tony Pollard, he ran it in. He drove down the field after a 3-and-out. So he had some adversity. Then he showed resilience. Almost got picked off, but the defensive back dropped it. But again, showed some resilience, was able to move down the field, and had some good. He had a good series. He had some good. What's the word I'm looking for? He showed good poise. There were some things that you could build your hat on, and so I think that raw word is a slight. I watched several commentators and analysts, sports analysts, actually grade Cam Ward's, start or the performance as pretty good. They're very excited for him and Calvin Ridley, which is their number 1 receiver. They're excited for that connection. And again, he may not have had the flashiest stats on paper, but people were saying, from the Dan Orlovskis to the Chris Sims, the Titans local radio shows, you could see it. Okay, there's something there. There's a reason why. I mean, this guy right here saying, like, this is why technically he was the number one pick. So he just needs to build on it. So I think that was, again, like I said, I didn't necessarily agree with the assessment from that website, but that's fine. That's fine. Again, he didn't necessarily have the best statistics on paper, but when you watch the game, you're like, okay, like Cam Ward was handling business. So number 3, Jalen Milroe from the Seattle Seahawks, 61 yards passing, 38 yards rushing. He did what was probably expected, showed something as a passer, and as a runner, he notched 61 passing yards, 6 completions, also ran for 38 yards. Alabama quarterback might be seeing packages in 2025. There's that. I have dream come true to play my first NFL game at Lumen Field, which is the home field for the Seahawks. So there he is. Trying to look for some other quotes and stuff like that, but that's decent. Now, Shedeur Sanders, I believe his game was probably on Thursday or Friday, and he got a bulk of media coverage. Rightfully so. He definitely played well for the Cleveland Browns, 14 for 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. And he definitely made it known that he did. You have to wonder how long before Browns fans start calling for Sanders to actually be the team starter. He had 2 touchdown passes, 138 yards, notching nearly 10 yards per completion, which is great. Yes, I have something to say about this, but let's hear from the man himself first.
Conversation now, of course, is about how many reps you get and what reps you get. Do you feel like you did something today to move up the depth chart?
I honestly don't know, and I don't really care, Whenever it's my turn, and I just got to take advantage of it. I feel like, today I did some good, some bad, and I know moving forward, I won't make the same mistakes twice, so that's not in my control, and, regardless of whatever the situation, it's not up to me, and it is what it is. I just got to, accept whatever everything come with.
Conversation now, of course, is about how many reps you get.
So, I don't think it said it definitely made it known that he played well. I don't think he made it known. Just because he raises his wrist to show the forearm, to show the Audemars or whatever, if he had it on or whatever, and he's definitely a flashy person, came with an entourage, that doesn't matter. Like, they put the mic in front of him, he answers the questions, he seems pretty humble in that response right there. He did what he was supposed to do. And I think you want your quarterback to have some type of confidence anyway. So I don't necessarily understand what it says, and definitely made it known that he did. I mean, you're gonna show passion for the game you love. It's I don't he's played his butt off to get to where he's gotten. So I would have thought he was actually going to be number 1 on this list. So because he did do well, I thought that that he made it look easy. But again, first preseason game, it is what it is. And I know that he was going against the twos of the Panthers, and Cam Ward was also going against the twos of the Bucks. Not sure about Jalen Monroe, but let's move on to the first guy. So Jackson Dart, New York Giants. They're pretty. I know their fans are pretty happy with this kid right here. Able to throw the ball downfield well. 150 yards, 12 of 19, 154 yards, 1 touchdown. Beautiful pass to Lil Jordan Humphrey. Let's see what I have. What do I have right here? There we go.
Connecting a lot,
Could you take us through the touchdown pass to Humphrey?
Yeah, me and him have been, if you've been following along, me and him have been connecting a lot, during camp and whatnot, and he's been a great contested catcher on go balls, so I liked my matchup one-on-one, and he was able to win over the top and made a great play. A lot of times, those are some of the biggest plays in the games, so, just in those split seconds, being able to get the ball off and you're about to get hit. I think it was TJ Sanders who hit me, and, I've been hit by him a few times in college, so it's kind of funny how it came full circle, and we talked about that after.
Could you take us through the touchdown pass to Humphrey?
So, I think that was one of the more better post games that I could get to. I think that he did do well, and it was controversial for the Giants to pick him instead of Shador, but maybe they read the right call. Maybe this is the person this is the team he needed to be on and the person they needed or whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to see how these kids develop and grow. First preseason of a long season, first game of a long, season. But it's good to see some of these guys do well. Pretty much all of them in their own rights. And I can understand from a paper aspect Jackson Dart being up there, but I do think Shador probably should have got 1, Dart probably 2, Milroe 3, Ward 4. Again, but this is just off of paper. When you look at the game, I do think Ward is probably 2 to 3. So there's that. Now, I want to switch real quick, if I may, to a huge news that just dropped this morning. The UFC. This is from Dana White's X account. Breaking news, UFC has a new home in 2026, only on Paramount Plus. We spoke about this a couple of episodes ago. Would the UFC go enter the streaming service, and how will they do it, and yada, yada, yada. I was really looking forward to Netflix acquiring it, because I thought that between Netflix, Hulu, ESPN, for whatever reason, I thought Netflix made sense. And a new challenger has entered the ring, and that's the Octagon. You get it? It's Paramount Plus, or CBS. So this historic deal with Paramount and CBS is incredible for UFC and our athletes. For the first time ever, fans in the U.S. will have access to all UFC content without a pay-per-view model, making it more affordable and accessible to view the greatest fights on a massive platform. This deal puts UFC amongst the biggest sports in the world. The exposure provided by the Paramount and CBS networks under this new structure is a huge win for our athletes and anyone who watches and loves this sport. I think it's, I want to say rumored, but I think it was confirmed it was a $7.7 billion contract. I believe it's for 7 years. Let's see if I can find that. UFC. Yeah. Pay-per-views are over. UFC announces new deal with Paramount, $7.7 billion for 7 years. All numbered events will be on CBS for free. So this is pretty cool just because again, there is no paywall besides your streaming service. And it is going to bring a lot of exposure. Massive deal by CBS. Massive investment by Paramount. Incredible work from Dana White and company and TKO. I mean, dude, I wonder what the negotiations were like. That's just awesome. Just to be a fly on the wall to see and hear. Like, they're not even talking about millions or hundreds of millions. They're talking about billions, bro. That's amazing. I am curious to see what happens with athletes that have pay-per-view points. You know, some fighters are able to get money off of how many sales, but there won't be any sales anymore. So, curious about that. Pay-per-view sales, excuse me. I am curious to also know if this will affect the fighters' pay in totality, just because there's a lot of money coming into the UFC, more money coming into the UFC. So I would hope, but again, you know, there's rumors that UFC fighters don't get paid well. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but it's more so I would hope that this does raise the bar for them. That, you know, it goes back into investing into the fighters, and Dana White and co has shown that they do invest at least into their product. So the product is the fighters, but also into their analytics teams, their infrastructure, their buildings, their apexes, their, you know, performance centers, so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, I can't even lie, that came out of nowhere. What a huge, massive deal. Amazing deal by these guys. And yeah, way to go. I mean, this is one way to stop piracy for sure. But I guess it doesn't even affect you. I mean, it does, but you're not worried about it as much, I would say. Yeah, I don't think you're as worried about it, because I think on the pay-per-view you're on your own, and then on this it's pretty much covered. You're gonna get what you're gonna get. Now it's just about the ads that come in, and yeah, they're gonna be able to sell. So that's awesome. Last but not least, guys, I wanted to talk about some LAFC news. And for 99% of the fans that aren't soccer fans here, you're like, who the heck's the LAFC? Well, I wanted to talk about my boy, Sonny. Very happy that he is able to join. He's from Korea, played on the Tottenham Spurs, that's in London, England, Premiership League team. This is him right here, him right here, him right here. Has brought a lot of love, a lot of eyes to MLS, to Major League Soccer, to soccer in America. He's that good, but it's also interesting because he's still kind of in his prime. So, just got to play over the weekend. Last week he was signed, and over the weekend he got to play his first game. It's a big thing especially if LAFC, the soccer team, continues to do well, and he is part of the reason why they do well, and that he can bring more exposure to soccer here in America, especially since we're literally a year away from the World Cup. So I'm very excited for this acquisition. He is actually one of my favorite players. I'm very happy that he is on the team. So anyway, guys, before I go, check out the socials. I appreciate y'all for subscribing to the YouTube channel. It's gone up a little bit. I appreciate y'all for following me on socials as well. Keep showing the love if you like the content. If you have any questions, any comments, please drop them. Still small enough to be able to answer all the comments, so I'm doing that. But hit me up. You guys can see it, Kosher FTESWL on X, from the Eastside with Love _ each word on the IG, Kosher FTESWL on TikTok, and from the Eastside with Love 562 on YouTube. Everybody stay blessed, stay positive. We out. Peace.